a weekend filled with Yu-Gi-Oh! Action and TCG sneak peeks and awesome new Doctor Who stuff, I still managed to go see The Great Gatsby. Because you know what? When it comes to this, I care. I really care. Cue title theme. American literature, they say there are 3 books that truly represent a time stream and a timeline, or whatever you want to call it. They say it is My Antonia for the late 1800s, Man-Child in the Promised Land in the 1960s, and The Great Gatsby for the 1920s. Now, My Antonia is too boring. Man-Child in the Promised Land says the N-word more times than Leonardo DiCaprio in a Quentin Tarantino movie. And the third one is out right now. This version actually stars Mr. DiCaprio, along with Lizzie McGuire and some chick I really don't know. I think it's Carey Mulligan, Sullivan, Tullivan. Let's just call her Daisy, because that's who she is in this movie. She's Daisy. Now, if you're like me, you read The Great Gatsby in high school, and you know that this film isn't a lot like it. Okay, I'm sorry. I heard the story that according to Baz Luhrmann, when the film made its first, pre-showing, F. Scott Fitzgerald's granddaughter was invited, and she said it truly captivates and shows the true example of his book. I don't agree. The thing is that, frankly, I kind of felt the visuals were a bit overbearing, and I know that's what everyone's saying is wrong with this film. I think it goes deeper than that. The visuals didn't overly bother me. You know, they're appropriate when they're there, and when when it comes to scenes of character development, they are distracting, but it comes down to a more deeper thing. First up, let's look at Gatsby for a minute. This is this rich guy. He's got everything. He's got more money than God. He throws these crazy parties, all just to get Daisy's attention. It's fine, it's alright, but it's just so crazy. And again, maybe this is just me being someone who lives in today's world, to believe that someone would do all this for just such a mundane thing is so stupid. And the thing is that, again, DiCaprio, a very charismatic, very nice guy. Every guy knows at some point they had their man crush on DiCaprio. For me, it was with Django Unchained. Let's face it, we all liked him in there, even though we weren't supposed to. I don't know. Anyways, the thing is that Gatsby, even though we do learn he's got a complicated past, and he's built himself up, what he becomes is just this over-exaggerated, this completely over-the-top character. And the thing is that it wouldn't overly bother me if it's just, there's always so much more to a scene than just what's going on. It's the bright lights, it's the music, it's the dancing, it's just so blown out of proportion. And this is the 1920s. Let's face it, Prohibition was out, so things got blown out of proportion a lot. You know, let's get rid of alcohol, let's get rid of gambling, let's get rid of everything fun in life. Come to think of it, maybe these parties were necessary. Well, they weren't. And it doesn't just end there. Lizzie McGuire's in the movie. And again, in reality, it's kind of not about Gatsby. It's more about him. It's from his perspective. He narrates the story. But the thing is, he's completely forgettable. You know, he doesn't really come across as someone interesting. This really should have been a role that should have gone to someone less well-known. Albeit, Lizzie McGuire isn't a particularly popular actor, but we all know who he is, no matter how much we'd like to forget it on a Scotch-Enfield Ridge. The thing is that he just comes across as kind of being what he was in Spider-Man, this annoying twerp. Then you've got Daisy, praised by Katie Sullivan, Tullivan, Mullivan, Tubin, something. And the thing is that, I'll admit, she's kind of alright in the part, but even still, she just, half the time she just feels like a total airhead. You know, she just kind of flies the line, all happy, I'm Daisy. And again, you kind of get the feeling she loves Gatsby, but it's just so mushed in with the visuals and everything. Arguably, the only guy I could stand as Gatsby's big enemy who I will appropriately call Mr. Mustache. Because you know, when you see a mustache like that, that's all you care about. The thing is that he's arguably the only one who isn't so overbearing in this movie. But the thing is that the only reason it's that is because the film doesn't focus on him as much. He's one of the main characters, but he's kind of not. Yeah, the film just completely goes off on its Gatsby tangents. You don't even see Gatsby for the first, act of this movie. It just goes so every direction at once. If it was just more straightforward, maybe I could connect with Gatsby more. The thing is, I'm a modern-day person. So for me, someone like Gatsby is what he felt like in the film. Just this rich jerk who lost himself and is trying to get himself back, but it doesn't change the fact that he's just so overbearing. And again, if this film, it shouldn't have been as long as it was, and I get it, it's a great American novel. Let's face it, the other two novels I mentioned in this video are impossible to put in a film. This one can, and has been several times before. Hopefully if I ever get a chance to see the other ones, they're a lot better. But with this film, just so much thrown out at once, if I could compare it to anything, I'd compare it to a unicorn throwing up like a rainbow and a bird. Because it's just such an overbearing, overdone, overacted movie. I get the pressure. I know Baz Luhrmann. It worked with Moulin Rouge. It didn't work with Romeo and Juliet. That film's terrible. Everyone's got to admit that. You know you admit it. You know it. You know what? No more anger. No more rage! I'm just going to say it what it is. This film is a 4 out of 10. Because a 4 out of 10 on the... What do I even to call this? I don't know what to call this. It's just so much everything. You know what? 4 out of 10 on the drama scale. I'm not going to ruin this movie for people. If you are a fan of The Great Gatsby, you'll probably like it. Because it does say the book's details over and over and over again. Again, if you're a fan of Gatsby, you'll like it. The visuals, they aren't terrible. When you're introduced to the film, the 3D, it's not overly necessary, but it does kind of help keep you in the movie a bit. When you enter this party, you feel like you're there. It's beautiful, it's big, it's amazing. When you see Broadway, it's big, beautiful, amazing. When you see this one fountain scene, big, beautiful, amazing. And then after a while, it just kind of gets a unicorn throwing up. Yeah. So 4 out of 10 on the drama scale, because this is a sad movie. Saddest part, I had to spend money to see it.